Good afternoon, sir. I am Rochelle and Rimas from BSCRIM4, BLOCK4. And I'm going to report the definition of terms that you have given. So, first is the premium hardwood. Refers to Nara, Molave, Dao, Kamagong, Ipil, Akasya, Akle Apawit, Banuyo, Batkuling, Hetis, Bulangeta, Taek, Tindalo, and Manggis. So, these are high quality, durable wood types valued for their strength, beauty, and versatility in construction, furniture, and crafts. So, next is the private lands. Private lands refers to lands covered by either administrative or judicial title or free patent, homestead, and sales patent and torrents title obtained under the Land Registration Act number 496 as amended. Realty tax declaration is not acceptable proof of ownership. Also includes titled lands and alienable and disposable lands with approved application for homestead, free, and emancipation patents. So, private lands are lands with legal ownership documented through titles such as free patents, homestead or sale patents, and torrents titles under the Land Registration Act. A realty tax declaration alone does not prove ownership. These lands also include titled properties and alienable for disposal lands with approved applications for specific patents or emancipation. So, next is the protected area. All refers to identified portions of land and water set aside by reason of their unique physical and biological significance, managed to enhance biological diversity and protected against destructive human exploitation. So, a protected area is a designated portion of land or water preserved for its unique physical and biological importance. It is managed to safeguard biodiversity and prevent harmful human activities. Next is quarrying, a process of extracting materials such as marble, basalt, andesite, conglomerate, tuff, adobe, granite, gabbro, serpentine, and inset filling materials, clay for ceramic tiles and building bricks, pumice, perlite, and other similar materials from ground. Also, the process of extracting, removing, and disposing quarry resources found on or underneath the surface of private or public lands. So, quarrying is the process of extracting materials like marble, basalt, clay, and other similar resources from the ground. It involves removing and disposing of these materials from private or public lands. Next is the relics. Are cultural properties which, either as a whole or in fragments, are left behind after the destruction or decay of the rest of its parts and which are intimately associated with important beliefs, practices, customs, and traditions, periods, and personage. So, relics are cultural items, whole or fragmented, that remain after decay or destruction. They are closely linked to significant beliefs, traditions, practices, historical periods, or notable figures. Next is selective logging. So, selective logging is the systematic removal of the mature, over-mature, and defective trees in such manner as to leave adequate number and volume of healthy residual trees of the desired species necessary to assure a future crop of timber and forest cover for the protection and conservation of soil and water. So, selective logging is the controlled removal of mature and defective trees, ensuring enough healthy trees remain to sustain future timber growth, protect soil, and conserve water resources. Next is special private land timber permit. So, special private land timber permit or SPLTP issued to landowner themselves by the Secretary of DNR to cut, gather, collect, or remove nara and other premium hardwood species found on their private land. So, a special private land timber permit allows landowners to cut and gather premium hardwood species like nara from their private land as authorized by the DNR Secretary under specific regulation. Next is the Timber License Agreement or TLA. These permits were issued by the DNR pursuant to PD 705 and the old constitution and continue to be in full force and effect until their expiry dates, subject to the same term and conditions as originally granted and approved unless Congress may provide otherwise. So, Timber License Agreement or TLA is a permit issued by the DNR under PD 705 and the old Constitution, allowing timber operations. It remains valid until its expiry under the original terms unless modified by Congress. So, next is the Timber Sharing Agreement. So, all license issued by the DNR to utilize timber resources from forest areas and layout of TLA in compliance with Section 2, Article 12 of the new Constitution as implemented under EO 278, Series of 1987 or DNR Administrative Order Number 78, Series of 1990. So, a timber sharing agreement is a permit issued by the DNR to use timber resources from forest areas, replacing the Timber License Agreement, in line with the new Constitution and Executive Order Number 278. Next is the 5 immediate concerns that should be addressed for the protection and environment, cultural properties, and natural resources. So first is the protection of forests. Second is the protection of fisheries, marine life, and aquatic resources. Third is the ensuring clean and safe land, air, and water. Fourth is the preservation of endangered species and other wildlife. And lastly, the protection of cultural properties. So, to protect the environment, cultural properties, and natural resources, immediate concern must be addressed. This includes safeguarding forests from deforestation, ensuring the preservation of marine life, fisheries, and aquatic resources, and maintaining clean and safe air, land, and water. It is also crucial to focus on the preservation of endangered species and wildlife, alongside the protection of the cultural properties that reflect the history of traditions of communities. Addressing these concerns is vital for sustainable development and the well-being of future generations. Next is the forest protection. Statistics from the Bureau of Forest Development or BFD maintains that 11.1 million hectares of forest land are still covered with timber. Satellite data and surveys conducted by other quarters revealed a considerably smaller figure. According to the Forestry Development Center of the University of the Philippines, remaining living forests may only cover an area of between 1.9 million and 2.4 hectares. Similarly, United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization predicted that the country may lose all its forests within 15 years if continued destruction is not averted. So, the Bureau of Forest Development reports that 11.1 million hectares of forest land are still covered with timber, but other resources suggest the actual area of living forest is much smaller, ranging from 1.9 to 2.4 million hectares. The UNFAO warns that the Philippines could lose its all forest within 15 years if deforestation continues. Next is the protection of fisheries, marine life, and aquatic resources. So, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or the BFAR, claims its inability to stop illegal fishing and harvesting of coral has been hampered by lack of finance. The lack of public awareness and cooperation in matters dealing with conservation is another stumbling block in efforts to save the country's dwindling natural resources. Coral reefs are considered one of the most productive ecosystems. Their direct relationships with fish production has long been established. A healthier reef supports more fish, and a country like the Philippines, where great percentage of the population depends on fishing as a means of livelihood, the importance of coral reefs cannot be underrated. So, the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or the BFAR, struggles to stop illegal fishing and coral harvesting due to financial constraints and a lack of public awareness and cooperation. Coral reefs are vital ecosystems that support fish production, and their protection is crucial, especially in the Philippines, where many people rely on fishing for their livelihood. Next is the ensuring clean and safe land, air, and water. So, the continuous alteration of the physical, chemical, nuclear, and biological properties of any water, air, and or land resources of the Philippines, or any discharge of any liquid, gaseous, or solid waste at will has created and rendered harmful, detrimental, or injurious effects of public health or welfare, and further adversely affect the utilization for domestic, commercial, industrial, agricultural, recreational, or other legitimate purposes. So, the continuous pollution and degradation of the Philippines' land, air, and water resources through harmful waste and alterations pose serious risks to public health, welfare, and the ability to use these resources for various purposes such as domestic, commercial, and industrial needs. Next is preservation of endangered species and other wildlife. So, the profound impact of man's activities on all components of the natural environment, particularly the effect of increasing population, resource exploitation, industrial advancement and resources, recent assessment of the quantity of the varieties of terrestrial, wetland, and marine species of both flora and fauna revealed a very distributing figures. 89% of the 558 species of birds nationwide are recognized as threatened species. Likewise, 44% threatened species of mammals and 8% of endangered reptiles. Similarly, plants in the vast forest areas in the country are continuously experiencing destruction. So, human activities such as population growth, resource exploitation, and industrial progress have significantly impacted the environment, leading to a decline in wildlife. Recent assessment shows alarming figures, with 89% of bird species, 44% of mammal species, and certain reptiles being threatened. Additionally, plant species in the country's forests are also facing ongoing destruction. And that's all. Thank you.